Hello, everyone. In the after church tea time, we are discussing today the sermon of Paco and Deb about why is spiritual welfare important. And we are joined by Andy and Nikki. Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone.
And by Lisi.
Hey.
Hi. And yeah, we watched a beautiful sermon about spiritual welfare, spiritual well being, and what it means to have that when you're on the spiritual path. And yeah, do you want to start what you got from it?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think what the first thing is that stands out to me. I think what really one of the messages that really stood with me, where I really deeply resonated while Paco and Deb were talking, was when Paco described how every time when he was going through a life experience, he mentioned when he was depressed or working through some heavy things, he was always going to God and really insisting on God, what is the lesson here? What are you trying to tell me? What is this? And I think that was the thing that for me I was oh wow, that's something that I guess for me it was just a reminder to do that more often. I had I would always do this thing where when I had a block and I didn't know what it was, I would just be God, please show me what this is. And within 24 hours, it would
Mhm.
manifest in a really clear, extremely triggering way where I was oh damn, okay, I called this in. Now I know what it is. But it was kind of just boom, here it is. And when Paco was talking about that, it just reminded me of just deepening that practice of communicating with God and going to God for every block or problem or whatever you're experiencing in your life. And that's really the foundation of spiritual welfare. It is your relationship with God. And I remember towards the end, I think Paco or Deb, I don't remember, they were sharing that when you don't feel good, it's about being with God in that place and bringing God to that place, which is the very basic mirror exercise, or just the foundation of the entire teaching that Jeff and Shaleia share with us. So it's this really simple thing, but it's kind of this principle thing that you can always go back to and be reminded of, because it's you just eternally going deeper and understanding, okay, no matter what my problem is, it's just about going to God and being with God and bringing God to that place, bringing love to that place, and deepening your relationship with God and love or peace or whatever you want to call it. So that was my big kind of takeaway, overarching speaking.
What did you guys get from it?
I really liked what you shared because one of the things that I think it was Deb said that it was like using the mirror exercise and the tools that Jeff and Shalia have shared is like getting on a highway, like getting on a spiritual highway where you could use the tools that we have, meditation, prayer, reading scripture that has been here for thousands of years, but putting into practice the mirror exercise as Jeff and Shalia teach it is like I feel that too, like really taking my relationship with God to a more present personal level where that's it's like a highway. It's like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm going slow. I got to get back on the highway. Every time I feel like I'm kind of like wandering, I just choose to use the tools and it takes me right there. And to live in like a constant state of communion with God, where just like what you were saying, Dennis, like how, you would ask God, like, hey, what's my block? And then it gets pretty quickly shown to you. I've had, like more deepened experiences going in my life where it's like really seeing God as my first primary partner in my heart in like relating to the world from that place. And everything really works out when I do that. Um, I really liked Yeah, that was like one of the bigger takeaways I had with was the highway analogy. Um, Paco shared something that stood out to me because I had heard Jeff and Shaleia say it in a recent class I watched. Um, he said, I always had God in my life, and God was always present. And he was referring to like his religious upbringing from his parents, like and Deb too had a religious upbringing. But what it reminded me of what Jeff and Shalia shared in a class, they shared it with Michaela. Actually, she was speaking about her mother passing away in a Twin Flame Ascension School class. And Jeff and Shalia, I think Shalia was talking with Michaela and showing her that she wasn't actually abandoned, even if she didn't have if her mother passed away, she didn't have a mother, she was still being mothered by God. And so it seems like you don't have God if you look at the external, but you actually always do. And so whether it's very explicitly like your parents are helping you to have a spiritual education in a religion, or maybe your teachers and coaches, and then later on in your life, Jeff and Shalia and your ascension coaches are giving you the access to the God within you. So you never actually not had God. And I feel like that was implied in what Paka was sharing too, where realizing, hey, like God made himself known to me in this way when I grew up. There was no way that the creator would not be present with his creation. Like, so I felt that was a really good place to go deeper.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
For me too, there was a point at my life when I didn't know God like how I know him now, but I always felt that there was something there because of how I felt in my consciousness of my life, what was my life reflecting all along. And I used to call it the universe back then, and I always used to say like, uh, what is happening, like where am I going? And I for example, I always like felt this lack feeling for the fatherly love um, in my heart, and I always used to like talk in my mind to the universe, uh, where am I being directed towards? And not so long after that, I met Nikki, and everything like
Aligned.
aligned, yeah, in the right place. And now, for example, when it comes to like spiritual welfare, when I wake up in the morning, I feel good to actually choose life, start living, start like nourishing my body, my soul with whatever I need. Even like when I go to the supermarket outside, and uh, I see like my reality. It's really I feel really grateful for these teachings of Jeff and Shalia, because I can see the veil that is there, and I can see like uh, how much loved I am by God by actually being with him all along, and being able to actually make the choice to be with him. And yeah, so that part of like spiritual welfare is really like means a lot to me, to actually like just being aware that that I can always choose to have that spiritual welfare, and it shouldn't like look in a certain way from outside, uh, like doing like healthy stuff, exercises and stuff, but also inner, just like taking a walk and just processing like the reality, and everything like the reality reflects just when you when you take a short walk. Yeah, it's beautiful.
For me also, I feel like I had the same experience with you. I was actually raised by a family that was not religious, but the place that I was growing up was religious. So I had to go to church, and I had this like upset for a long time with the church in general, or maybe because the script was old and it was not implemented for living now, like Jeff and Shalia's teaching.
Mhm.
So I was raised having like this upset with the church, and I thought that God and the universe were two different things. And I did relate to God in the same way. I was like, universe, you have to show me what should I do now. And I just started exploring because it didn't make sense like deep in my heart that I had to suffer, or I couldn't like change my reality. I couldn't make my reality better. I couldn't feel better, or I had to accept the reality that I had in front of me. I was like, this doesn't sit well, and there must be more. So I started in the same way as Andy, like talking to the universe, which is God. And then I met Andy. And I found the teaching of Jeff and Shaleia, and I implemented like the mirror exercise in changing and feeling better now every day.
Thank you.
What was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway, also what Nikki shared, is like how to implement the teachings in your daily life, that you kind of have the spiritual practice and have a spiritual well-being and choose that in applying, doing the work every day. And I guess Paco shared that, yeah, I guess it was Paco. Even when you watch a class once a week and then you go over to every third day, and until you have whatever your pace and whatever your rhythm is, until you have it once a day when you watch a class or do the mirror exercise, or even he shared, even when he does not give him what he needs to be nourished, a breakfast, he feels bad. And feeling good and having a spiritual well-being, and choosing that, this is what Jose and Michaela shared into the intro, choosing and having the commitment about feeling good and claiming that in your life is my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about like the process of that. I think Paco and Deb kind of touched on it, but like it is like daily work. I mean, not work that's like drudgery, but like it produces joy, like
Yeah.
to take care of yourself and to take care of yourself spiritually, but it also manifests physically. Like I like your backdrop. Like I like how your cards are organized. It just looks really like peaceful. And I know that's a result of your inner work that's like, you know, feeling good, and it's like coming out into your reality. And it's just, yeah, it's just like getting to love cultivating your inner reality and love the spiritual hygiene that you're giving yourself, and see it as like a joy and a blessing. And I know when I when I first came to the work, like, and I hear people that like come and that are new saying like, "Oh, I have to love myself," and it's like I know that that sounds like, you know, when we were children and we learned to tie our shoes, and we're like, ah, I don't want to tie my shoe, and oh, I want mom to do it, you know, and there's that kind of like growing pain in the very beginning, but then once you start to like get in the rhythm of taking care of yourself and developing the habits of spiritual welfare and hygiene, it feels really good to do it. And the blessings that you receive, and you receive the knowledge that you have infinite ability to love yourself and extend that love outward. It's like blessing upon blessing. So I love this community because it provides us a space to like really learn and grow and develop these skills and develop the practice of spiritual welfare. So yeah, I'm going deeper myself into more areas of my life where, like the body and finances, where I'm like, healing things and expanding the healing into those places, going deeper with God there.
I love what you were sharing, Lucy, and it reminded me I was watching a Tifa's class, I think it was yesterday, and in that class one student was sharing, like, it was kind of this class where, like, for the first hour everyone was just kind of sharing their success, and Jeff and Cher were generally talking about them, how, like, when you start doing the work, you're putting a lot of work in and seemingly not getting that many results, and as you become more mastered, you starting to, like, put in less, as in, like, if you put in seemingly the same amount, but you're starting to get more out of it because you become more mastered and you become more efficient. And one of the students was sharing how, like, she realized that she had reached that point where she wasn't doing the inner work anymore to, like, get with a twin flame or get something from it, but as she was doing her inner work, she just, like, took this moment and realized, like, oh wow, I'm doing this because I really enjoy doing this and it feels really good for me to do this. And yeah, as I was watching that class yesterday, I was just, like, kind of, like, reflecting on that, because obviously you get all the classes that I'm watching in order, but, like, they always come at the right moment with what I'm going through. And I was just reflecting deeper on just, like, how, like, yeah, any part in my consciousness where, like, I had this, like, belief that our inner work is, like, hard, or anything in that, like, realm, was just, like, I just, like, yeah, released that and realized, like, oh my God, I really enjoy loving myself because I really feel good when I do that. And when you do it from a, like, you can't force yourself to do something you don't want. So it's like, if you force yourself to do the mirror exercise, of course there's in the beginning this, like, discipline in there, but I feel like it's really important to come to this place where you realize, like, for one, you're doing this out of your free will, like, no one is forcing you to do this, and you're doing this for yourself and because you like doing this and you enjoy doing this. And any place where you don't feel that is something to like mirror, like, kind of where you need to mirror the mirror exercise and you're obsessed with the mirror exercise. And I realized for me, like, the times, or, like, things I had a hard time, or, like, didn't enjoy doing the mirror exercise, and it felt like this, like, drudgery, as you mentioned, was always when I felt like it had something to do with powerlessness, or kind of feeling like, I don't know how to hear this, I feel like I can't hear this, how can this ever, like, work out? And as I kept, working through that, and I always came to this place of, okay, no, I surrender this to God. God, show me the way, show me how to hear this, like, give this to you. And then it became easier. But it's always about, yeah, even when you do your inner work, I guess, coming from a place of love, and doing it from love and with the intention of love, and not from a place of forcing yourself or not feeling good. Because whatever you do from a place of not feeling good just increases the feeling of not feeling good. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, for what you shared and what Lisa shared, what it came was like being responsible for ourselves, and especially commitment is a huge part of that. Like Lisa was saying, like, if we don't tie our own shoes, we will fall, and it's our own responsibility to actually take care of ourselves so we don't fall. And yeah, that is what I wanted to share.
Mhm. And it's like, it's discipline to have that relationship with God. And it's a very loving discipline, because discipline is freeing. So as long as you learn that discipline and you implement it, the closer you get to God, because you have that sustainable ritual, kind of.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
just expands, and you grow closer.
Mhm. Yeah, and what is coming up for me is actually understanding the teaching. Like without understanding what it gives you, you really like you Dennis were saying before that sometimes you don't feel like doing the mirror exercise, so it's all up to your free will. So like what I feel like continuing to that is that if we don't really understand the teaching, we won't really understand what it gives to us, so therefore we won't really feel like doing committing to the teaching all the time. And yeah, I feel like it's really like committing to actually understand the teaching and really reflect on what it gives to us in order to fully like receive that good feeling when we heal ourselves.
Mm. I feel like it goes back to knowing what we're doing it for, and
Yeah.
it's for ourselves and like getting closer to God. Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
have a
God.
little, oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I thought,
Go ahead,
Oh, go ahead,
Lucy.
Lucy.
oh, sorry. I had a little interjection from Josh. Andy, Josh wanted you to see his
Oh.
shirt.
Aw.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's funny because I'm looking at our pictures and like you have like a picture on that side and I have a picture like yours is on there and mine's on here's. It's like a symmetric thing going on. So
Yeah,
funny.
really
But
cool.
yeah. Yeah, I also wanted to share like I know that I saw a picture recently of Nikki with a really cool purse that you got. Is that true? You got a new purse recently? And it's like that. I mean, you do the inner work, you feel better. Ah, it feels so good. And then, oh, this good thing is like matching what I feel. Like the purse was like not you basically felt happy from, doing your inner work and then the purse was like a reflection of that. I love that when it's like you already feel good and then you just get a reflection of it. It's really cool.
Right. It's like the reality just mirrors your um inner well-being. So yeah.
Yeah, ego tries to like mess with your mind and tell you that spiritual hygiene is like no fun, but it's really fun. It's really
Yeah.
fun and
Yeah,
it's joyful.
yeah. That actually comes to what you were saying before. That uh, discipline gives you freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and freedom gives you joy. Therefore, you feel love.
Yeah, I guess what I have to say is when you have a level of feeling good, you don't want to feel bad. So when you reached a level of peace and there is always more love, there is always more peace, and you can always go deeper in every area of your life, as Lisi mentioned, you don't want to feel bad. So when you, as Andy shared, when you really value the teachings and know what it can give to you, you will see it as a gift and receive that in the knowing that it's actually helping you to grow and to go deeper into peace and into your well-being.
Thank you.
I have two questions that Paco and Deb asked in their sermon. They said, why is it important to have spiritual welfare, and why is it important to choose spiritual welfare?
Well, I think the second question was, why is it important to choose it? From my perspective, how I would answer that question is like, like it always starts with a choice. So
Yeah.
if you desire to have spiritual welfare, it starts with choosing it. And yeah, that question of like, why is it important to have spiritual welfare? For me, that goes back to what Jose and Michaela were talking about in the introduction, how what Jeff and Shaleia teach us is how to have emotional stability. Because if you like, how do you say this? Like, I remember before, obviously, you know, if you didn't have like a technique or method or something by which you deal with your upsets and you heal, you're either walking through life being numbed out, or your entire energy is being drained out or going into your upsets. So you're just kind of going through life and you're just like in a constant inner turmoil, going from one upset to the other, always being an upset. And upsets are like leaks, like your energy is going into something where it's not meant to go. So when you heal upsets, you're taking that energy back, it can flow in a divine way and you're not leaking it away anymore. So when you have emotional stability, you can actually start to have a life where you, for me, like that has a lot to do with life purpose too, like a life where you can like serve in your the function that God created you in, live your life purpose and live the life that you desire. Because even if your life on the outside looks like nice and shiny, if you're internally always in turmoil and in upset, you're still like living in hell in a way. I mean, not in a way, like you're still living in hell. And that's why I feel like emotional welfare is extremely important, because it's really the foundation of your heaven on earth, your dream life.
And feeling good always.
Yeah. I feel the same way. It's like building the eternal life in heaven on earth. So, and like being one with God, like being in perfect union. That's that's the goal. I feel like this is the reason. And feeling good.
Lisa
Amen.
wanted to say something too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was when I was listening to Jose and Michaela's introduction, I noticed that I had, this previous thought, which was that if I felt good, I was spiritually bypassing. Like, I had this like habit of thinking that I had to like feel bad in order to like move through it and feel good. And so if I felt good, I always felt like something was wrong. Like, what am I missing? And I realized that with this process, you can trust that as you heal and as you purify your consciousness, that you are ascending, and that you don't. I think in the past, yeah, I was spiritually bypassing in my past, like before I found this work, but I'm not spiritually bypassing because the mirror exercise focuses your awareness on your consciousness, on like um, like with very accurate precision into what is blocking you from love. And I really trust it. I feel better and better. I'm able to move through what used to feel like really big challenges. I can move through them with more ease, and I'm getting better. Like, I still have work to do, but I can see the improvement, and that's really cool. And that gives me a lot of like confidence, I think. I think other people too.
I relate to that. I had the same things like, oh my gosh, I feel good. There is something wrong. When I feel good, there's like, where's the next bomb which is exploding and tell me that I did a big mistake. But when you practice spiritual welfare, when you apply the teachings every day, the result is, as Lisi said, that you feel good, that you feel peaceful. It does not make sense the other way around. You are growing in peace, you are growing in love, you are growing into having more wealth and yeah, deepen your relationships and having healthy relationships and all of that when you practice this.
It's kind of like you have this like recipe and you're baking a cake and you did all the steps and now the cake is in the oven and then you take it out and you're like, oh my God, why do I have a cake? Shit, what did I do wrong? I'm not supposed to have a cake. And you destroy the cake because you think, oh, I'm only doing it right if I'm in a cooking process. But if I have the finished cake, something is wrong. I'm not allowed to have the cake.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
And it's like you take care of the contrast inside of you so you don't have to experience it outside. But since like maybe I've experienced this, that I was so used to having that contrast outside that it feels like, oh, where is the contrast where is the contrast outside? Like I can see it. Where is it? Where is it? And then I'm like, oh, well, you healed it. And I would be like, oh, okay, I can just relax because I actually built peace and love there, so I don't have like to feel that contrast.
And Christine was saying in her card reading as well that when you feel after you complete like the mirror exercise and when you feel joy and when you feel love, it's okay to just keep feeling that. You don't have to look out for the next upset to heal because we deserve to feel all the joy now, even though we have a lot of upsets to heal until we understand, but still we can live a joyful life meanwhile.
Yeah, and it's a choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember feeling like I was very unstable, like going up into joy and then push, like crash into the dark night of the soul like every week or something. And I was always trying in my way before I found this work to get to sustainable joy. That's always really what I wanted. And I didn't know how to get it until, committing to Jeff and Shalea's teachings and practicing it. And it just feels really good. And I know that there's maybe people watching that are experiencing the, getting up really high and then crashing and feeling like you're not building anything, feeling like your sandcastle's washing away. I had that experience for a while. And that's not what this is. This is like, well, how do you build it? And it might feel like as you're chipping away, doing the inner work, it might feel like you're just like putting a marble in a jar. But if you keep putting marbles in a jar, or if you keep building those bricks, not out of sand, it's going to last and it's going to be your foundation and you can always trust it. So it's new and different. It's like, do I want to go back to, I don't think I can. I think there's like a point where like you pass like a threshold and you can't really go back. It would just be so, I don't understand if, people do this work and feel better, how they could possibly not keep doing it because it's just great. But I would never want to go back to this like awful feeling up and down, chaotic stuff that doesn't feel good. But I was always looking for this. And I finally found it. I'm really glad.
I'm just very humbled to listening to Lisi and to Andy and Nikki as well, because Nikki shared also 2 minutes beforehand, when you care about the contrast, it's like you give energy to the contrast more than to feeling good and trusting to feel good. What Lisi said, trusting to feel good. It's all about trust and not giving energy into the contrast, because what I get from it, the high and the low, is like experiencing contrast and learning through contrast. And when you when you choose to commit, and what Andy said, when you choose to commit, and when you have discipline in doing so, you experience freedom, and you don't have to experience contrast when you choose love, to have love as the teacher and to don't have contrast. You don't need to have contrast in order to learn. That's not necessary, you know. Yeah. Thank you for this. Needed to hear that again.
Yeah. Anything else from the sermon, maybe that comes up for anyone? That you feel like addressing.
I guess we feel complete, huh? Or do you want to share something?
I'm feeling into it, but I don't really have anything coming up now. Maybe Ami.
Do we have any comments?
We have one comment from Frisi to what Lisi said at the beginning about that class with Michaela, where Shaleia talked about her mother passing away, and Tracy is saying, "Oh, Lisa, I feel like you're speaking directly to me about feeling abandoned because of my mom's passing. I woke up so upset after a dream where my mom didn't want to come and spend time with me. I've been thinking about this the whole day. I really needed to hear your words. Thank you."
That's really sweet. And if you have Twin Flame Ascension School 1 class pass, or even the all classes pass, it is Michaela's first class. I'll have to look up which class that is, but it was her very first class. So when you watch it, you'll receive the healing, because Shaleia moved through that with her mother passing. And Shaleia is who really brought that healing to me. And even though my mother is still alive, it's like, your biological parents couldn't be all of God for you. And so they, there's a place where God continues to parent you throughout your whole eternal life, because you're always a child of God. But I really loved what Jeff and Shaleia both shared to Michaela about the illusion that you didn't get what you needed, but you did. And you still have, and you're still receiving what you need. So I'll find the class and then I'll post it under there. Or somebody else probably maybe get there first.
Maybe if Chrissy's watching.
Yeah. I know it's Michaela's first class, so it'll probably be easy to find, because she came into Twin Flame Ascension School and she had already studied the work for a year before her first class. And it was really cool because she had it. They were asking her questions and she's like, yes, the mirror exercise. It was really cool. A really cool class. So yeah, all of the classes are cool.
Yeah, but other than that, Fatima saying that you look heavenly, Lisi.
It's really nice. Thank you.
And yeah, other than that, we don't have any comments. So yeah, I guess, the question is, does anyone have anything else coming up, or do we all feel complete?
I feel complete.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then thank you everyone for this discussion today.
Thank you,
And
guys.
we wish everyone a wonderful rest of the Sunday, and we will see you next week at after church tea time. Obviously other people, but
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye bye.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.